like 5 seconds before you hit the live button, and then you go live, and you're like this.
I'm a professional, son. I'm a
Okay.
professional. Let me tell
Just
you
making
something.
sure.
I'm coming in real hot tonight. Okay, Sun's soccer team played their arch rival, and it didn't go so well. Lost 5-1, so it's pretty brutal. Couple weird goals, bad calls by the referees. I was really hot, man. But
Yeah, well,
what are you gonna do? Well,
show them the
guys,
redhead in you. Show them the
yeah.
redhead in you,
So
buddy.
as you guys are joining, let us know if you can hear us and see us okay. We're going to walk you through the final 16. Actually, we're going to go through like the final 32 and let you know the results of those matches and talk about the final 16 and kind of what our thoughts are from here, things that we've witnessed this week with the World Championship. We want to take a minute to thank our sponsor, our new sponsor, Seybert's, as well as the other ones that you see around the outside of the screen here. Huge shout out to those guys. Paco, what's up? One of our Patreon supporters. And guys, if you want to support the podcast, if you like what we're doing, you can head on over to patreon.com/dogging it. Hey, Mike, by the way, we only need 10 more to give away that Lomax jump cue that I have. I don't know
I
if you know.
forgot all about it.
I've been keeping count. We have 5 since I announced it. We were trying to get 15. So 10 more people, and I'll be razzing or giving away or figuring out some way to give away this.
You ain't razzing it. You're giving it away. You're giving it
Yeah, I
away.
guess it's not a razz. I don't know. I don't know all the lingo that you use,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. You're giving
So
it. You're giving it away.
I'm giving it away. I'm giving it
There you go.
away.
Lomax
Hey, that
Junkie,
little
man.
white carbon logo down there, it looks like it's almost on your shirt.
I look a little official, right? Let me
Yeah,
just
like
unzip a little
position
bit.
yourself better. It's like a Superman logo.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Right
All
here's good.
right. So what do you think, Mike? You any first impressions before we bring up the bracket and start talking about it? Like, how have you felt about this event so far? Uh, you think it's a good one?
Yeah, 100%. I think the coverage has been phenomenal. I think that they've done a great job. You know, they're evolving still, and it shows with adding a third table and another YouTube stream. Emily swore up and down for a long time that we wouldn't do it because we didn't want to have a table without any commentary. Then here they are during the World Championships having a third table, which is much appreciated. And they had some amazing matchups and things that we would never get to see had they not done that. So, and that's just one thing. You know, the fans look to be great. The atmosphere in the room looks to be exciting. There seems to be a buzz. There's still 3 Polish players through the final 16, which we'll get into in just a minute. But yeah, I mean, all the way around, and you're getting blurry again, by the way. All the way around, it's just been a phenomenal event, man.
Yeah, no, I haven't had. I've been working all week, so I haven't had much of a chance to sweat a lot of the action. So I'm really excited for this weekend to watch the conclusion of this event, and I think it's going to be a real doozy. There's a lot of heavy hitters left. I mean,
A
at
real
this
what?
point, a doozy. You ever heard of that?
Hmm, okay, I've heard of it. I've heard of it. I ain't
They
heard
don't
it
say that
since.
in Corpus Christi.
I ain't heard it since like '91, son. But I heard of it
No,
before. All right.
I'm not exactly up with the times, but once you get down, 128 man tournament. Once you get down to the final 16, I mean, there's nobody that fluke through to the final 16. You might see somebody that gets through to the final 64, maybe didn't belong, but now you're down to the final 16. People are playing some pool, no doubt
Tell them,
about it.
tell them like a Super Billiards Expo story about when you made a deep run, Joe.
Oh, shut up. Nobody wants to hear that again. You talking about the time I beat Jason Klatt when he snuck in the
I've heard
tournament?
that. I've heard that one too. I've heard that one too.
You really know how to butter me up.
Oh man, that's my guy. That's my
Oh,
guy. All right, let's
what are you
roll,
gonna
man.
do?
Let's get
All
into it.
right, let's bring it up. All right. So, yeah, Shane Van Boening beats Aloysius Yap 11-9. Pretty tight match there, Mike. What do you know about that one?
Yeah, Shane. Shane started off, I think, in a hole somewhere around like 5-2. Takes the lead, and then it was kind of nip and tuck from there. Shane got up. Shane had the lead. I want to say like around uh, maybe like 10-9, and then Yap was at the table. Yeah, it was a great matchup. You know, that was the one that whenever me and Mike were talking about it beforehand, this was one that Shane, could possibly stumble over because we all know Yap's ability, his class. He's a tier one player, as Alex Laley likes to call him. In my opinion, anyway, Yap is. And he's had success against Shane playing 9 ball, most notably at the U.S. Open. So, but great win for Shane. You know, his score line before this was through the roof. You
Yeah.
know, just overwhelming people. This is as close as you can get to, maybe tripping over someone, but it's got to give you confidence. Um, and yeah, I mean the guy's defending so far, and you got to like where he's at going into the next matchup as well.
Yeah, we talked about that before, how, when a guy cruises through a tournament, doesn't have many close matches, that they're susceptible to that one match where they just throw in a clinker. And so I think this being a
Yeah,
closer match for Shane really bodes well for him from here on out and defending that title. And I don't know if folks caught it. If you didn't, you can go back on Windows Open and check out Mike's interview with Shane earlier today.
it was
Uh,
short.
I thought it was a short interview, but I thought that it was kind of neat when he basically said that he wasn't even thinking about the repeat. He was just trying to play good pool. You know, I don't know if he's being honest there because, you know, you
I
never
think
know
he
what,
is.
well, you never
I
know
think
what motivates these top professionals. Deep down inside, he could be thinking, I'm not letting somebody get this title. I'm going to win this title, but at least what he told you, he's not really thinking that way. He's just trying to play good pool.
Well, the one thing about Shane over the course of his career that you've always been able to hang over his head is that you haven't won a world championship yet. And as much as he would say leading up to that it wasn't important and he's fine going the rest of his career not having one, him winning that really freed Shane in a lot of aspects. I feel like when it comes to his career, and a guy with Shane's ability paired with just a free mind, right?
Yeah.
Can really make someone extremely dangerous, and it shows. It shows in this event. He's always going to be imposing just because of his break and how he can muscle it. Of course, his resume and his accolades and his titles that he's collected over the years as well. There's plenty of other monsters you got to fade, but he's done his job up until this point, and he looks like he's carefree along with being a monster. So I mean, look out.
Well, it looks like he's going to have to come with it into the round of 16 because in the other side of the bracket there, Duong Kwak Hong just annihilates Wojciech, which was a little bit surprising to see that score line. I don't know much about the match, but obviously that's going to be bringing Duong in with a lot of confidence against Shane, winning that last match 11-1. You don't see many
Well,
score lines like that at this stage of the tournament.
no, you're right. You don't, and especially Wojciech. He's a world 10 ball champion. You're playing on home soil. To me, it wasn't so much that he was dogging it, more that it was, Huang just was just killing it, man. Just he had a nice rhythm, super confident. The conditions didn't seem to bother him any. He's always been that guy, and we talked about it before, where he was dangerous in any event, but you would never put him in that elite category. You just wouldn't. He hasn't crossed into that threshold for my money. But yeah, I mean, beating Wojciech is going to give you confidence, but I don't care who you beat. You got to beat the man in order to be the man, and Shane is the man, or a guy like Francisco. But it's respect to Wojciech, but Shane's a different animal.
Yeah, and this could be a signature win for Duong if he can get this. So I'm sure he's pretty motivated coming into this. It'd be kind of, I'm kind of interested to see how that shakes out. It's at 1400 hours local time, which translates into 8 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure to tune in and check that one out. Should be a good match. I assume that one would probably be one of the, probably on the zone. You think, Mike?
I don't know what it's going to be like from here on out, but I'd imagine if you don't have the zone or DAZN, that you better get it because you're going to need it. And there's going to be a bunch of great matchups. Like Josh says in the chat, that SVB has a hands full. Without a doubt, he does. But it's different when you and I when I say this, I say it in the sense of like having talked to a number of top players. When they play a guy like Shane, it's different. They're very aware of who Shane is, and it gets in their head. So,
Yeah. Hey,
or
we
it
got a
can
couple
anyway.
comments in here I want to address. Corby, we're not going to tell you yet, but we are going to tell you who we think is going to win it. So hang with us. And why didn't Skyler go? Skyler decided to fly back to Texas to spend the day with his family and ended up having tons of ice storms in Texas. Couldn't get in and out of there. and unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it, which is really, really sad because I think Skylar would have done really well here. All right,
A lot of people do. Yeah.
scrolling on down. Other than my kids' soccer team getting beat today, this match really puts me on tilt because I was, talking up Chua, just talking about how great he was, and I
Yeah.
know how much you have a love affair with Max Lechner,
It's
and
my guy.
he ends up knocking him off 11-6, and I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna hear the end of this one. Um, yeah, I'm a little surprised by that, to be honest with you. I thought Chua would win that match first of all, and if he was going to lose, I thought it would be Hill or something closer.
Well, it's funny because as I got up in the morning to start watching matches, Max was the first one to get through to the final 32 at the time. So I messaged Matt Lynch over at Matchroom Pool, who has been phenomenal in coordinating with me and getting me some players. And I said, man, can I get Max? Because I just, I enjoy Max's company, but more importantly, it'd be a great joke for Joey to needle him. And you know me, I never want to miss an opportunity.
I,
Um,
hey, the day we interview Max on here, I'm going to make it so awkward for you, bro. I
I'm wait.
really
Hey,
am.
listen, I'm wait. I'm gonna be. It's gonna happen soon.
I'm
Very
going to
soon.
replace your background. I'm going to do like some technology stuff here. I'm going to replace your background with pictures of Max. That's
Crop
what I'm
me
going
and
to do.
Max like in a
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
photo. Yeah.
Or I'm going to have some kind of photo with you with your arm around Max or something. It's going to be
Every time Max comes in the picture, I always think about you, and it's funny because I was at the Derby, and I'm sitting. I think it was during Tony and Tony and Efren, and I had a decent seat, and so I took a selfie and I posted online. Me and Mike were cracking some jokes, and anyway, Max messages me, and the first thing that comes to my mind is thinking about you, Joey Ryan. So
well,
there'll
thank
always
you.
be that affiliation. But you're right. Hey, listen. But onto his game. The guy can play 9-ball pool. The guy can go deep in matchroom events. He's kind of been, in a lot of regards, kind of like Mario. Maybe not quite as consistent, and I'm not saying it in the sense of them being both Austrians, but he's kind of been knocking on that door in that 16-8, real similar to what Francisco did all those years. Always right around, the third day, second day, things like that before they end. But that's going to be a confidence booster for him. I think he's right where he belongs in the final 16. Can he take another step? I hope so, just for the sake of needling you some more. Plus, I like Max. He's a good guy, and I can't help but root for him.
Well, I
So,
tell you what, it doesn't get any easier for Max because he's
no,
playing Kun-lin next. We saw him out in Vegas. I think he won the Diamond Las Vegas
he
Open.
did.
Uh, Looked really good doing it. Uh, kind of an unassuming guy, kind of smaller guy. Just to your eye test that you always talk about when you first look at him, you probably wouldn't pick him out of a room full of pool players, but the guy can play some pool, and he proves it by beating Naoyuki Oi 11-4. What can you say about Oi? He's a great player, and Kun-lin dispatches him pretty easily, 11-4. So Max is going to have his hands full in that match.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously,
I'm
he's going
I'm
to have his
picking
hands full.
I'm picking Will in that match.
Why do you hate Max so much? Like,
Dude,
man,
I
it
don't hate
really,
him. I don't hate him.
really,
I like the guy. I really
it
do.
really is going to be awkward whenever we bring him on. I can't wait for that day. And I'll tell you what, if he beats Will Kun-lin, I am gonna sweat Matt Lynch so hard to get me Max Lechner so I can interview him and we can talk nothing but trash about the way you pick him, Joey Ryan. That's my hope for tomorrow. So
All right.
Max, come on, do not let me down. But you're right, big win for Wu. Um, you know, we've all seen Oi, not just with
Here's
his
the thing.
antics and his character, but his play on over the last few years. So the guy's a killer through and
Here's
through.
the thing about Max. If Max, I think Max does watch the show. He probably thinks I hate him. I don't hate him. I just hate you. So I
I
always pick
know.
against you, and you always pick him.
No, Max is a good guy with a great sense of humor, and I'm glad. I'm glad to see him have success because he really is a good dude.
All
So
right, so moving on to the next one. Who the hell is Sebastian Batkowski? You picked him early on. You said, "Hey, watch out for this guy." I mean, I'm just stunned. This guy is just beating people right and left. He knocks off James Arness. You always give me a hard time the way I say his Aranis,
awkward,
the
awkward.
way I say his last name, but knocks him off 11-9. He's through to the final 16. I don't really know the guy other than he's Polish, just by the flag I see there. But how did you know the other day to say, "Hey, watch out for this guy"?
I watch a lot of Euro tours. I've seen the name quite a bit. I scoreboard watch even with guys who I don't know their names. Filler wasn't filler. When he turned 18. They're like anyone else. There's steps in people's careers. I feel like, and I've just seen that name, scoreboard watching, and seen him deep in Euro Tour events. He's no shortstop by any means. Maybe in like compared to the depth of Euro Tour players because it's ridiculous out there. Um, but this is by far probably his best run, I'd imagine. And I'd bet a little bit of money on. But this whole section right here, I mean, this is like upset city right here because you got Mika losing Hill to Sophie. I could not pick either one of these two gentlemen out in the lineup. So just, I'm not coming out here saying that I'm Nostradamus or anything. When I saw that match with Mario, I recognized the name and I said, well, wait a minute. There were plenty of first round matchups that looked dangerous. That was one of them. But beating James, that to me shows your 9-ball class. You beat James, and you can beat most anyone. I feel like because I consider James, a top level 9-ball player.
Yeah, and what does this say of the state of pool in Poland? I mean, a guy that most of us had never heard of. Now he's through to the final 16, and he's beating great players. And he's not in that top dozen or half a dozen that we think about of Polish players, that are out there playing in all these big events and doing pretty well. We're waiting for one to really break through. I guess Victor's kind of broke through, but hasn't really
Oh,
won that
he ain't
big
kind of
one.
broke through. That kid's broken through.
Okay,
That
but you
kid,
know what I
that
mean.
kid,
He
that
hasn't
kid's a
won.
star.
He hasn't won the big one. He's won Euro
Well, yeah,
tours.
but
He's won.
none of them have. To be fair, none of the Polish players are deep. They're dangerous, but none of them have broken through like that. We had those expectations with Conrad and Misko, and for years they were the face of the red and white, right? They were the ones that we always saw on World Cup of Pool. They were the guys we saw on World Pool
Yeah,
Masters. They were the guys we saw go deep event after event, but it was always like, okay, you're there through single elimination, and then when you get to single elimination, you're nowhere to be found. You're right that it does show the depth having a guy like this make his way through. I couldn't handicap this next round. I'll say this, just my eye test by seeing these scores here. My eye test is going to tell me that I'll probably stick with the Polish guy to win one more
final
round.
8. That dude gets to the final 8. I mean, we are going to know who that dude is for sure. And you know
Yeah.
what? I mean, I don't know. I just want to know what they're doing in Poland. We should honestly take notes of what they're doing there because even though they don't have that one like world beater right now, they have like so many guys that are right there on the cusp. And I got an argument online the other day with somebody about different kind of the way the United States is set up with leagues and bar tables and cap tournaments and handicap tournaments and all this stuff. And I remember thinking like, why are we trying to refine that process? Why not go to Poland and figure out what the heck they're doing to get all of these great young players? I'd love to know that. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Maybe it's just me.
everyone's got their own journey, right? If you ain't got the hunger to be the best, you ain't gonna be the best. It's as simple as that. Those guys have great sparring partners. It's unfortunate because James was the last of the Filipino contingent to be in the World 9-ball. There's a lot of guys from the Philippines who aren't here, like Dennis and Carlo and a few others that really should be here, and you would favor them into making it to the final 16.
Yeah,
But you can't take anything away from them. We're gonna, like you said, we're gonna see who this guy is one way or another tomorrow, and he's got a great opportunity to continue his Cinderella run. But yeah, if you're beating, on the other side of it, if you're beating Meek Emin and Hill, it shows how you can hold it together, and it shows your ability as well. So, we'll
that's
see.
true.
Yeah.
And 1400 hours again. That's 8 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm definitely going to check that one out.
Hey,
Moving
why, why,
on.
why don't you highlight this guy? Tanson's comment there. This will be Mario's year because I know one of us picked Mario to win this year. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's getting kind of late.
I'm
That
just
comment.
it's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
Come on,
I
Mike.
like I like where he's
You're
at.
better
I
than
like
that.
where he's at.
You're better than that. You don't need to
No,
rub
not
it in.
not today. Not today. I'm not. Where we at?
Snogaki knocks off Lars. Remember, I think that was Jim Telfer's boy was telling us watch
Yeah.
out for Lars, and he did well. He got to the final 32.
You know
But
what was funny, Joey? Real quick, I'm gonna stop you. What was funny was that Jim had commented about Lars. He said, "I bet y'all be talking about Lars now," or something like that. And Lars replied to Jim's comment on our last podcast. And
no
then I clicked the
way.
guy. Yeah, I clicked the guy's profile and saw who he was, and it was pretty funny. So
Did you friend request him? Tell the
I
truth.
did not. I did not. No, no, no,
Why
no, no.
not? You're
Because
soft.
you got to win 2 more rounds, and then I'll send you a friend request, buddy. All right,
That's
win
messed
two.
up. You got to get to the quarterfinal of the World Championship before Molina Mike friends
Yeah.
request you.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No,
That's
but listen,
brutal.
congratulations on a great event. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You left an imprint on there, and listen, 11-9 against Nagaki. He's one of those under the radar, like second tier Polish players
Yep.
who's got a really high gear as well. He's no slouch. Albin is going to have his hands full again tomorrow, but and he took it down Maciel 11-9, which what can you say about Albin, buddy?
I just like to take a minute and do a little sidebar on the friend request issue. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
It was a
what's
joke, by
your?
the way. It
I'm
was a
sorry.
joke. It was a
No, I know,
joke.
but
Yeah.
what's your feeling on that? Because I get, I have a lot of friend requests. Sometimes I make, but I had this like long-standing policy where I didn't like accepting friend requests until I actually met the person, because it creates that awkward moment when you're out there and you meet somebody. You're like, "Hey, I'm Joey," and they're like, "Hey, I'm Steve. We're friends on Facebook," and I'm like, "We
Yeah.
are." I just feel terrible about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you
I
handle those?
it's I'm it's rough, and I'm like you. I'd rather know the guy these days.
Yeah.
It can be awkward at times for sure. It's even more awkward when they're like, "Hey, can you go and accept my friend request?" Because then I'm like, I can't tell the guy no. So I'm like,
Bro, that's what I
okay.
asked you. I had to ask you that when we were in Texas.
Yeah. So
Jerk.
then I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll click it right here during this conversation. So yeah, I get a little awkward sometimes, but
That said, anybody that watches our show, if you send me a friend request, I will accept. You just gotta like put a little message in there and say that, hey, I watch your show.
yeah, and we do appreciate the love and support, by the way. So,
Yes,
but
absolutely.
yeah, and it was great when I was out at the Moscone Cup, when I was out at Derby. There were so many great people that came up to me and were saying how much they appreciate the show, how much they like our interaction, how much they actually like you as well, Joey. Asking, "Where's Joey at? Where's Ellen at? Where's he at? I want to see him. I want to take a picture with him." So, and it was just, I mean, literally, Joey, it was like every day, and the love
That's
that I
awesome.
felt out there was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. So we appreciate every single one of you guys who tune in, who interact with us and hit us up and give us ideas and inspiration, man. We love the game like you guys do. So much love in that
Yeah,
regard.
and I just put up our Patreon. If you do feel like supporting us, do us a favor, go to patreon.com/dogging it. And once you enroll in our Patreon, you'll have access to some exclusive features. For example, every day, every single day, I wake
Killing me.
Melina Mike up in the morning and I say, we have to do a question of the day. And we just banter for anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes about some random question about pool. What was today, Mike? You remember?
It hasn't it no, I don't remember, and it ain't been 5 minutes one time. Every single time it's at least like 20 minutes
Hold
long.
on.
I don't
Hold on.
remember.
I'm going to tell them the question of the day today, just so they know. Oh, today, the question of the day today was here. I'll put it over here just so people can see it.
And let me tell
So,
you, we get a lot more like a lot more open with our vocabulary and a lot more open with our opinions on that group than we do anywhere. But we
yeah.
try to
So
be as open as
today,
we can.
the conversation was about Mika, Niels, and Thorsten still being alive in the final 32 and what we thought kind of the prospects of that. Uh, of one of them still being able to win a world 9-ball championship. And we kind of bantered about that. That one was 15 minutes. And then just to give you an idea, on to the next day or the day before, we talked about pool rooms adding money to tournaments. Is it a sustainable model? You see, we get a lot of comments there. Day before, we're talking about carbon fiber and wood shafts. What
That
is
went
the
over
ideal
well.
pool tournament
Yeah.
format? All that stuff, guys. So check it out if you want to be entertained, because like Mike said, we don't hold back on that. We just go all
No.
out.
By the way, we got 5 Efren cue balls that will be given away sometime soon. Efren sign balls will be given away sometime soon. So we're looking forward to that. Plus, we got a lot more other memorabilia. You mentioned the Lomax jump cue that Joe is going to be giving away if we get 10 more Patreons. So probably top 5 jump cue in the market right now. So pretty special.
It's used. I just want to clarify that it is used, but it was used by me, and I made a lot of great shots with it.
Oh well, then in that case, the value goes up if it was used by Joey Ryan.
That's true. Maybe I should razz it instead. No, I'm just
Mm,
kidding. I
I
don't know how
like
to
it.
do that. That's you. All right. So As you mentioned, Albin Ouschan beats Massio 11-9. He advances. Just the consummate professional, always doing his job, always getting deep in these tournaments. He might not win every tournament, but he's going to be there towards the end. You're going to, the last 2 days, right? Like when you talk about golf tournaments, you talk about the weekend. Can you make the weekend? Can you make the cut? If pool tournaments had a cut, Albin Ouschan would always make the cut, right? He's
It's
always there, final day, final 2 days right there.
it's scary how consistent this guy is. And I
Yeah, it
think
is.
I forgot who was talking with him. I think it was Carl interviewing him um, in a match earlier, but it was just how he gets stronger as the event goes on. And he's that guy where if you don't take him out, you better watch out because he's going to be taking you out pretty soon. You know,
That's right.
he's that kind of dangerous. It doesn't matter who you put in front of him. The guy's been in so many finals over the last 2 years. It's unbelievable, especially as these events have just gotten deeper and deeper and tougher and changing this pocket size, format, whatever.
There we go
It's
again, Mike.
there goes your camera, Joey.
Hold on,
Matchroom,
stand by.
Matchroom's pulling the plug on you. Um, but no, it's Albin's just in that top tier class of pool players. It's Nagaki. He can be dangerous, but like I said, you better put that guy away. And I don't. And Albin's got the heart of a champion through and through. I don't care what the score line is. The guy's a fighter. The guy can put your ass in the chair for quite a few minutes while he's running packages on you. If he gets his break dialed in, his confidence just continues to rise, right? And then you realize, oh shit, it's Albin sitting across from me. And I'm telling you, man, you know, everyone's noticing that he's still in that tournament. Everybody, kind of like a Shane.
Yeah, we got some people here that making some comments, Mike, that I think we got to address. The issue about Josh Filler using carbon fiber again, and how it seemed like he was struggling a bit. And I believe he was asked about it and said no comment. Almost as if, at least I don't know if this is the case, but I think a lot of people are assuming that he's being strongly uh, influenced to use the carbon fiber shaft over the wood shaft. And so that was kind of the issue there. I'm not sure if you have any comment on that.
I don't think
Are you
it's
going to no
strong.
comment me like Joshua Filler?
I'm thinking about it. We talked about this earlier. When we did our show earlier, and it got brought up after Alex beat him. And I'll say then what I'll say now. I a million percent. I a million percent think that, and I know for with quite a bit of confidence that it's highly encouraged that these top players use Revo if you're on Team Predator. It's and I don't see Josh if he says that the way he did, and he did now, because Jenny Ann said it, I take her word for it. I didn't confirm it, I didn't verify it, but if she said it, she's not pulling that out of thin air. I believe what she said. So with that in mind, I a million percent think that it's like, hey, you better use it. It's a part of your deal, and that they're now, flexing a little bit on Filler. Um, you know, he's been he's been the most intimidating person in pool over the last 4 years, without a doubt. And it's not a good look when everybody sees him struggle because everybody sees him play differently. And then you
Yeah,
pair that with the fact that we haven't seen him use carbon fiber in so many years. Is this doing more harm than foul? Right? There's always going to be a market of people who want to use carbon fiber. There's always going to be pros who are using carbon fiber. You can look all over that great event and find pros who are comfortable with using carbon fiber. But you know how pool is, Joe. It's here. It's mental,
yeah,
right? So when I got something that's comfortable for me, and I'm elite, man. I'm elite. And then you want to have me go and change it, it's going to put me on tilt being forced to make that change. And then when I start, stumbling here and there and not playing at that level that I know I can play at, it's going to, the whole world's going to notice. The whole pool world is noticing. I just, for the life of me, I don't understand it because I don't think Josh is going to move the needle when it comes to sales here in the States. I don't think Josh is going to move the needles when it comes to Revo sales, in Europe. That product
right.
has over the last few years, that product has
There's already
shown that
so many
it
pros. There's already so many pros that use it, and people.
exactly.
Your average 550 Fargo rate at the bar has seen the value and owns one, and they've paid $400 some for it. So I got to agree with you there. So yeah, it's just an interesting thing. It'd be interesting to see way it plays out and what becomes of this. People are saying, does this mean like he could potentially change sponsors? Yeah, I mean, I think that could potentially happen, but obviously they have a great relationship because Josh is willing to go back to it. I mean, we're making a lot of assumptions here. I don't know the whole
Yeah,
story,
I'm not.
but
I'm not gonna assume that. I don't take
yeah,
that. I take that as he signed a deal and he's living up to his end of
right.
his end
That,
of the
yeah,
bargain. But
yeah.
obviously,
He's
look,
honoring it. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. But it's clear if he says it like that, you know, like you're not even saving face for him. You know what I mean? You're just basically saying, I ain't gonna talk about that publicly. And that's enough that we need to hear in order to figure out and see the writing on the wall. Josh is always gonna be great, but like I told you when we talked the other day, and I think it was on one of our question of the days, like it's the smallest of percentages that change these from being a good player to being an elite player. Josh is an elite player. Josh is number one. He didn't get the name of the killer for nothing, and he got that name using Predator products, you know. But I've seen countless time where pros make changes in their equipment, whether a Q sponsor or otherwise, and they're not the same player, and it can go on for 6 months, it can go on for years, and
yeah,
and give me a player who made a change, and I can talk about it, openly. So,
yeah.
like I said, I think this is doing more harm than it is good. If I'm Josh, I'm putting back on that Z3 because having success as a pool player is of number one importance, not
Two
not what
Mike
shaft you get at the end of your cue.
playing every day, 2 months. It takes 2 months to even feel somewhat comfortable switching to carbon. I've done it, right? And I went back. I was using a Z2. I picked up the Revo. I tried it. But it took 2 months to even feel like I was a pool player again. But then I was like, okay, I think I can get this. Played with it for about a year, then went back to the Z2. Now I use a synergy and I have fully adjusted to it. But I mean, it takes a while to really feel comfortable. And I know these guys play a lot of pool, but man, I mean, he's in that period right now of trying to get adjusted to it. You can tell. So
And you don't see him make positional errors like he saw. Like
yeah,
when Josh gets a window, Josh is out. Josh is
yeah,
out 99.9% of the time. Did you see that rack where he ended up at? Where he had to jump the ball to make it. I think it would have
no, I
forced
didn't
the
see that
hill.
one.
Like Josh just doesn't make those kind of mistakes. He doesn't.
Yeah,
So it's in his head. It's unfortunate. Congratulations to Alex, and he didn't make it through the next round. But what a storyline that was. But it's just a shame that it has to even be talked about. And
yeah.
people were already noticing. Oh, Josh is back to using carbon fiber. I had guys who bought Josh on the Calcutta that I was doing, and they were like, I would have never bought Josh if had I known he changed shafts.
Did you
You
give them their
know,
money back?
hell no. Give me the money back. How do you give
That's
the money
off.
back? Yeah, yeah, no,
Uh,
no, no. He's still
well,
Josh Philly. What are you gonna do?
guys, we're going to get back to the bracket in a second, but the other issue that kind of came up was the match with Tyler and Albin. And Tyler, I think, jumped out to a 4-0 lead. And then
5-1, I think.
5-1, yeah. And then Albin starts coming back. And at some point late in the match, Albin's on the hill, I believe. And something happens with the two ball. I don't recall exactly, but Tyler basically concedes the rack there. And afterwards, he talks about having twitching in his eye and a problem. So, the question is, was it an injury? Was it, just kind of not the best look, to just give up the rack at that point? you know, um, a lot of people are talking about it. And let's just say there's been a little bit of a hard week. I like Tyler personally. Him and I have interacted before, and he's always been kind of a friend of the show. He'll come on and talk to
Y'all are
us.
like cousins, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
redhead,
he's like
redhead
my
thing.
my nephew, right? We both have the red hair, but
Yeah.
really, it's been kind of a tough week for him because he makes the post out there in Derby City, and now he has this happen at the World Championship. But said he had an eye twitch issue. I've had that before when I'm playing pool. It's so hard to play pool with that. But he built up a big lead in that match, let it get away, and then kind of concedes the match. And I think a lot of people were kind of turned off by that. Not sure.
It, it ain't been the best social media week for Tyler, that's for sure. But I think the guy's playing great pool. Honestly, I do. If that's the kind of success he has against Albin, going up 5-1, in a race to 9, sign me up for that all day long against a guy like Albin. And I remember me and Mike were talking about it, and I said if there's one where I think that it can be an upset, I picked Tyler over Kazakis, which happened, and I thought it could be the same way with Albin. Um, you know, it's just after getting torn apart on Facebook for that ridiculous post that he made at the Derby, and then you follow up with this. It's low hanging fruit for people to kind of, to needle you about it, and that's they're not people aren't wasting opportunity to do it, and then that's well within their right. But from a pool playing standpoint, I think there's a lot of things about his game that are trending the right way. I do, and I'm not saying it because I like Tyler or personally or otherwise. I'm just saying it from what this shows me, is that his game is going the right way, and yeah, I think he's gonna have a good year. Honestly, I do.
Yeah, I do too.
And I don't know one way or the other how serious that eye twitch thing was. I don't know if it was an excuse or if that was legitimate or not. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. But if it was, and if he was 100%, that could have been a real
I
massive,
mean,
massive
given
upset.
given what we saw in Mosconi Cup and just how Tyler's been striking the balls lately, the John Morra match, etc. I think behind Shane and Sky, I think he's the next one. There's other in the conversation for sure, but in terms of hopefuls, like when you're looking at a tournament like this and you have one American player left, I think we're hoping that in five years or so, that one player, he could be that one player, or him and Sky. He's got that kind of upside, I think, at least from what we've seen of him. So, hopefully he gets through this, and people give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, I think he does need a little bit be a little bit more thoughtful in what he posts. I don't. Yeah. Let's just say. Okay, enough said. Moving on. Make me uncomfortable. So
You especially of all people.
back to I'm a little soft. Back to the brackets. Okay, we're gonna scroll down, and Alexa knocks off Alex Pagulayan. Sad to see Alex go, man. I don't know if you caught his post, but like my dad always says, every good pool player has to have 100 good excuses when they lose. And I think Alex said that he had salad, but then he also had bread and cheesecake, and he doesn't normally eat bread and cheesecake, and it affected his play. So for those of you out there that are trying to get better, you want to be the next Alex Pagulayan, no cheesecake.
Is that what he said? Is that
Yeah,
what
he
said,
did
really?
say that. I did see a post on that.
I didn't see that part of it.
It was
And I'll tell you, Alex is
whose
very serious
birthday
about his
was it
diet.
today? Was it Niels'
Niels.
birthday?
Niels, yeah.
Yeah, they were having cheesecake for Niels' birthday. First of all, obviously, like, you don't have cheesecake for a birthday. Okay, you have cake for a birthday, not cheesecake. Okay, so that's a
Excuse
big
me,
problem
Joey.
right there. It's too much dairy to intake before a pool match. You got to know this.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, I mean, I didn't realize you were so passionate about cheesecake. Number one, number two. Alex is very strict about his diet. A lot similar. Actually, probably more intense than what Tyler is. And Tyler's known to have a real strict diet as well. So Alex saying that, and I believe him, and because he really is like he's attention to detail. So, but it was, what Efren was to the Derby, Alex was to this World Nine Ball. So, I was hoping to see the run continue. But kudos to Alex. What a great last week he had, beating Josh a few times. We talked about Josh's switch, but Alex is still in it and he's still competing. Alexa's been on the upswing for quite some time. He had Josh. I think it was Hill, and I don't know if it was the U.S. Open or the European Open a couple of years ago. Oh no, this last year. So Alexa is certainly a monster hiding in the wings there, buddy.
Yeah. Also, the match below that, Petri comes up a little short against Niels. So, guys, remember on Patreon, we talked about this today. We debated could Niels, or who was it? It was Niels. Who were we talking about? Mika. And
Mika
was it Thorsten?
and
I think it was
yeah,
Thorsten.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, could guys of that era, that if you go back a decade ago or so, those guys were, susceptible to win any tournament. Could one of those guys make a deep run or even win a world championship? Well, Niels is trying to do that, right? He's down to the final 16 right now and is playing good pool.
Yeah, I think there was talk of like him doing things outside of pool, and he was like, "Well, wait a minute, I'm still trying to compete for Mosconi Cup spots here. I'm still trying to win world championships here. I'm not going anywhere, right? I'm
Yeah.
not moving over for these young guns, and he's going to be up against a young gun in that next round. Kudos to Niels for making it through the final 16. I would like his chances, even money. Maybe Alexa, getting a couple games might be a really good spot if you're betting it. But it's a flip, and Alexa might even be favored, to be honest with you. So
Yeah, someone asked me, did Alex really post that? I think this is the post right here. I don't know.
Look at what you got. My name under as your
Did you guys see that? Sorry. I
Oh
forgot.
man, that's
I got to be
funny.
careful what I put up here, but this
I
is
know. What are
Alex's
you
post
doing here?
today.
What are you
This
doing?
is Alex's post talking about the cheesecake. And let's see. Yeah. And bread and cheesecake are not part of my diet. Bonehead move. So, Alex Pagulayan, you heard it here first. Sorry, Franco. No cheesecake, especially for birthday parties. Get out of town.
My man,
So,
Franco.
I can't believe I showed the Melina suck Oh. So who
Yeah,
do you like in that matchup with
that's no
Alexa and
coincidence.
Niels?
I would go with Alexa. I would. He's not nearly the name that Niels Feijen is. Not even close to the resume. He's not even in the same category. But he's been knocking on that door, and Niels may be answering for him. Uh, I like Niels stepping up and making it this far. It's great, because he's decorated, man. But 11-6, give me the kid.
Yeah, by the way, I should have downloaded that video that Low Chris made. Mike, you saw that video, right?
I
Somebody's
did.
mentioning about the not forceful break. Marcel telling Alex his break wasn't forceful enough.
It
You
was
saw that video,
ludicrous.
right?
It was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I don't really got a hold of say it was just Alex just showed his mental toughness being able to fade that, because that would have put me on instant
Yeah.
tilt.
So our buddy Low Chris on YouTube made a video kind of showing the similarities in the breaks that were not called, or I guess warned, and the break that was warned. It was kind of interesting video. So check out Low Chris on YouTube. That'll be an interesting video there for you. So I'm gonna go with Niels here. I think Niels makes it through. I think Niels makes it to the final 8, and that's going to be a huge talking point if he continues to progress in this tournament. So
Yeah, without a
scrolling
doubt.
scrolling down, we're gonna skip that one.
No, no, oh no, oh no, we're not. Oh no, we are not.
All
My
right.
man who loses the first round into the final 16, the guy I had pegged to win it all, Mario. He survives Little Co because Mario was down late in that match. I want to say something like 9-6, somewhere around there. Makes it 9-9, and then ends up winning 11-9 from there. That's my guy. That was my pick from the beginning. I had him and Victor, who are both still in it, by the way. Um, I I love him surviving this matchup. I like him in the next round as well. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't really got a whole lot other to say except this to you, buddy. That's it.
It's certainly a great win, knocking off Little Co. And then the Morra Shaw match is interesting because I remember
Amazing match.
when we talked about that earlier. Uh, you Panozzo picked Shaw. I don't think I made a pick there, but I wanted to pick Morra, but I'm always
Of
wrong, so
course,
I
of
didn't.
course,
Huh?
of course. You wanted to pick more.
I
Of
did. I
course.
did. And somebody in the chat picked Morra, and they're like, "Watch, Morra's going to win this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think he is going to win this, but I'll keep my mouth shut." And I didn't pick him. I might even have picked Jason. I don't know. But anyway, Morra ends up winning that match 11-10. And so, great win for John Morra. I mean,
It
what can you
was
say?
it was 10-9. Jason makes a mistake and scratches on a shot he should have played safe on. Um, And then John runs out that rack and then breaks and runs the following one. Tough because Jason had just come back. I think I won like 4 in a row at that point. Whenever that mistake happened, but John just showed what he's made of. All the gambling that John's done has really made him just have nerves of steel over the last few years. Like moments don't rattle John Morra, and it showed in this match at Hill Hill. With all the bright lights and knowing what Jason is to Matchroom. Big win. But he's gonna be up against the Panda. That's for sure.
All
So
right, guys, I'm getting
um,
a new cord tomorrow. So I won't be having this issue with my camera anymore, hopefully. I thought I adjusted something on it today. I thought I fixed it, but it didn't. But what a statement win for John Morra, I
It
think.
is.
Knocking off Jason Shaw, Hill, a lot of pressure those last two racks. And this sets up really nicely for him to keep this momentum going and give Mario a hard time. Um, First of all, for somebody to switch hands, switch hands playing pool and be able to accomplish the things that he's accomplished, I mean, unbelievable. I can't even imagine it. If I had to play left-handed, my Fargo rate would drop 250 points at least. And he switched hands and now he's beating the Jason Shawls of the world in the World Nine Ball Championship. What an amazing feat. So I'm curious to see that match tomorrow. That match goes off at 1400, which is 8 a.m. Eastern time in the United States, 6 a.m. for me, Melina, 7 a.m. for you. So we'll be up early sweating that match. So going
I'll
down,
be up.
you'll be up.
I'll be up. That's for sure.
Scrolling down, two youngsters went at it. Victor knocks off Moritz 11-9. He advances into the final 16.
Comes
And
back from 7-2. Comes back from 7-2 to win against Moritz. Big win. The crowd favorite, the home, the whole country's rooting for him. A lot of pressure. I like Victor a lot, man. I do. And
didn't Sky Woodward come down from a big or come back from a big deficit against Moritz in a recent tournament, maybe the U.S. Open or International or something? I thought he did.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of just leaves this impression in my mind that as Moritz gets a little more seasoning, he's young, right? As he gets a little more seasoning, he'll be closing out some of these matches. I mean, he's a
He's young. He's
heck of a
young.
talent.
Yeah,
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 heck
yeah.
of a talent.
Without a doubt.
And so this is not the last time we're going to see Victor and Moritz face off for sure. And so, but Victor's through, and he's going to play Chang, who knocked off Copigny. And Chang's just that guy who's always there at the end of tournaments. I think he was up against it, right? He was almost eliminated in the round of 64, wasn't he? Wasn't he down in that match?
I don't remember. I think he might have dodged one, but either way,
At
beating his
one
fellow
time,
countrymen.
when we were watching those matches, at one time, Ko Chung, and Chang were all down in their matches and looked like they
late,
were getting eliminated.
late.
Looked like they were
Mm-hmm.
getting eliminated in like the round of 64.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
so,
You are right, Joey. Yeah, that's right.
yeah. And so now Chang has advanced to the final 16. And I tell
Well,
you,
yeah.
you don't.
Go back one. It was Hunter. Go back one. You can scroll to the left a little bit. It was Hunter Lombardo. He was up like no. Just go to the left, Joe.
I know, I'm
Not
trying. I got
down.
to get to the bar.
Yeah, there
Oh,
you
yeah.
go. Hunter Lombardo, 11-9. And Hunter was up, I think, like 9-7, at least 9-8, before Chang ends up winning 11-9. So you're absolutely right.
Pretty impressive from Hunter Lombardo, by the way.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
All right. So Chang advances against Victor. Um,
Who
I'm
you
gonna
got?
have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Chang in that match. I know you're gonna take Victor. You're always taking Victor. He's like your new Max Lechner. But I'm going with Chang here to win this match. Just the seasoning. I think he gets there. I think he advances to the final 8.
I'm gonna double down on my guy. I like Victor, and I'm gonna continue to pick him in every round. So we'll see.
You're taking him all the way through. What
Yeah.
happens when he plays Mario?
Well, yeah.
Now you have a decision to make.
No, I mean they're on the same side of the bracket, so if they both continue continue to win, it's bound to happen. So yeah.
One guy that's kind of surprised me in this tournament, just because he has. I mean, we know he's capable, but we haven't seen a whole lot out of him lately. Is Dennis Grabe? He wins this match 11-5. He's into the final 16, and I mean, he's just winning matches. He's winning matches in a world championship. So, how far can he go?
I said early on, I thought this format and these tables do not lend itself to Dennis Graves' style of play, and I couldn't be more wrong because look where he's at now. The guy's having success. 11-5 over Nguyen, and I don't know who that guy is from Vietnam. I've never seen him play, but either way, you got to be playing pretty well to be at this spot right now. You're going to really see how you measure up though in this next round. So I mean, all the success for getting it through to the final 16. But we all know where Francisco is on the totem pole. We all know, he's number one. He's at the top. So if you want to see where your game stacks up, We're going to find out tomorrow morning.
I love whenever I watch FSR play and I come back and I tell you I really like him in this event. And you're like, congratulations, you're picking the top player in the world right now to win an event. But it's true, man. He just looks like he's never out of a match. He looks like he never sees a shot he doesn't like. He just pockets balls and he runs out and he looks smooth doing it. I love his pace of play. I've said this numerous times before. When
Agreed.
he is on a roll, it's just fun to watch him run around the table and pocket balls, and you just kind of feel like he's never going to miss. Almost like when Josh, was running
Agreed.
around the table like
Agreed.
that. Very,
Ab-
very similar.
Absolutely. I cannot agree with you more on everything you just said. Every single thing. The guy is just so dialed in. It's unbelievable. He rarely makes a mistake. I don't see any flaws in his game, from his safety play to his jumping. His breaking, I think, is elite, top tier. Breaking 9 ball in this format. When he's got a window, like how I just talked about Josh earlier. When Josh had a window, he was out. That's what Francisco's in right now. It's a foregone conclusion. He ain't missing. He's gonna get there. He's gonna get perfect. He may get a little out of line here or there sometimes, but he makes it up with shot making and good decision making. The guy's in a great spot, I feel like, to continue his run. I like him in this matchup. And who does he play if he wins against
Yeah,
Grabe?
let's look.
Smells
Let's
a little
look
good.
ahead. Let's look ahead. We'll go back up the bracket, looking ahead. So we both like Francisco to advance, and you like Victor, and I like Chang.
It's brutal. It doesn't. I mean, pick your poison there. If you survive Grabe, right? It it's only going to get tougher, and as well that it should. But those guys are unbelievable players themselves. They're no Francisco, not right now. But they can be. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then scrolling up, we got the winner of John Moore and Mario He taking on Alexa or Niels
Oh,
coming out of
give
that.
me give me Panda to win 2 in a row, baby. Give me Panda to win that one. Give me Panda to win the other one. I like him in the final four. Let's go, Mario. Come on,
All
baby.
right, and then the next set we got Albin and Snagaki, and the winner of that will play the winner of Southie and Sebastian, the dudes that we don't really know too much about.
Find me someone that's going to bet against Mario. I'm sorry, bet against Albin in those four. Find me
Yeah,
one
no,
person that's going to bet against
nobody.
Albin in those four. Nobody on earth. Nobody. Yeah,
Nobody, but
Albin.
I'm really curious to see Sebastian Bakowski. I mean, I want to watch this match. I'm going to find it at 1400 hours, 6 a.m. my time, because I want to see this guy play. He's winning some matches. He's doing some things. I want to check it
Without
out.
a doubt. Without a doubt.
Okay, and then we got Max against Kun-lin. You're going to take Max, I'm sure. I'm going to take Wu here, and the winner of that's going to play Shane or Duong.
Yeah, I mean, we all. Everyone's going to be picking Shane outside of Vietnam. But
Well,
like we all
Taiwan.
saw earlier, no, not Taiwan. I think it's Vietnam, I believe.
No,
Um,
in that match, but I'm saying
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the out of the four,
Oh
right?
right, right, right. Well, listen, Shane's gonna be favored on paper, but like some guys were saying in the chat who watched the match, Huang looked really dominating in his match against Wojciech. I mean, really dominating. So, Shane's gonna have to be playing right and tough when he gets up tomorrow. When I talked to him, he said he was gonna be focusing on his break. So where his attention needs to be at. Um, I like Max. Would it surprise me if Wu won? No, it wouldn't. But out of those four, you're still gonna pick Shane.
Yeah, Josh
And
Sotelo.
most people will.
It can't be Panda versus FSR in the final. They would play in the semifinal because they're
Yeah,
both
yeah.
in the bottom half. And
And you know what I
uh,
hate, Joe, is that it still lends itself to where you can still have your final you want it to be that you picked at the beginning. I
my
hate that.
final,
Yeah, yeah,
who
I
did I
hate that.
pick?
You pick Shane and FSR with
That's right,
Shane
I did.
beating. No, with FSR beating Shane in the final. That's what you picked.
That's right. I sure
And,
did.
and who
What
do
if
you
that
like now?
happens, bro? I've never picked one like that before.
If that happens, you need to retire and don't ever come on a podcast ever again. And just because you can't go up from there. All you can do
Yeah,
is go down. So, are you gonna double down? Do you still like your picks,
I really do. I like Shane coming out of the top half. I have to say that Shane's the favorite coming out of the top half right now.
even with
And
Albin there?
yeah, and FSR is like the hottest player on the planet. He's the hottest player in this galaxy right now. And so I do like my picks. Now it's very chalkish of me. I don't normally take favorites. I normally, that's why I suck at betting, because I normally like try to find some sleeper in there and say, oh, okay, I'll take Kun-lin to win the whole thing. Which he could. He's a good player.
No. You're. I'm going out on a limb is picking Omar Al Shaheen in every event.
I do like Omar.
Yeah.
We all have those players that we just kind of gravitate towards. Mine is like Omar Al Shaheen. Yours is Max Lechner, Mario He, like the Austrian thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, this was a lot of fun today. We're going to be checking out the matches tomorrow. Probably doing some interviews. Probably doing some show, live show, talking about stuff. Want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, but our newest sponsor, Seybert's. If you guys haven't checked that out, awesome customer service. I told the story before. I bought something from them. They're like, hey, it's out of stock right now, but it'll be in 2 weeks. Do you want us to refund your money? All this. I'm like, no, I'll wait 2 weeks. But I just thought it was so cool. They picked up the phone. They called me right away. And that's the type of place I like doing business with. So check out Seybert's.
I'm not pointing to Seybert. I'm pointing to that guy CRG Schumacher. Yeah, that guy's right on the money. Way to step out on a limb there, Joe. Without a doubt. You're picking just straight chalk. Straight chalk.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway,
You don't see that guy? if you guys like what we're doing, you want to support us, feel free to check out patreon.com/dogging. Melina, Mike, and I tomorrow we'll have another video up. It'll be a question of the day on there. We like the banter. We like to talk a little trash on there. So if you guys want to check it out,
like No Tina Mike says, and whoever the hell that is, pick a dark horse.
Oh, okay, dark horse.
And then we'll get out of here.
It's hard to pick a dark horse with 16 great players. Are you going to
there's unknowns there?
Sebastian Bakowski? Are you going to pick him?
Is that who you're going to roll with?
No, absolutely not. Okay, I'm going to go with Duong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, can you at least bring up the bracket a little bit so I can scroll through it?
I made my pick. I'm good.
Okay.
No, Tina's got Nagaki.
I'll double down on Max then. Let's go Max Lechner.
Are you serious? Are you really doing this right now?
Yes.
Is this really happening?
Yes, I'm going to double down. I'm going to say, let's go Max. That's my guy. That's who I'm picking. I like his game, man. I do. But
I tell you, John Moore is not a bad dark horse. He's playing good.
I'll gladly take Mario He. And I like John a lot. I like his game. And that was a big win for him against Jason. Big win. But yeah, I still like Mario.
Look, all I got to say is I'm rooting against Max Lechner. Not because I have anything against Max Lechner, because I have something against you.
I know. Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out and see how it shapes up tomorrow, big boy. And I'm not gonna lie. I like Francisco too, but in my heart, I'm like, man, if Joey's guys keeps on winning and they end up in the final, I'm never gonna hear the end of it.
You remember I took Francisco for when we did fantasy draft for the U.S. Open. I took him and he won.
Dude, he had been winning everything on earth. You act like you it was his first win of the year. What are you talking about
here? U.S. Open. I mean,
he had been winning everything on earth, Joey.
Still, it's an impressive pick. Give me my props one time. All
right, buddy. High five.
We out of here? Okay.
Yeah. Later, y'all.
That was fun. See you guys. Yeah.